Welcome to Pagan Crafting. I'm your local art and green witch. Today we're going to start off our first spread in the Grimoire series, and it is a book blessing. The book blessing is the first page that I would like to have in my Grimoire book, so I thought I'd share that with you and start our journey. So join me today as we start our first page in the Grimoire series. It's all about you. So before I start, I'm going to just dig through. I have some Distress Oxide. I just started. That's like my first and only one I have. I got a really cool old book that I found that was falling apart, no cover. The pages are falling out. I'm just going to grab some of these old yellow pages. I think they're perfect. I don't even have to coffee or tea them. Just going to rip out some random pages here and there. So I'm going to still keep this book for other projects. These are tea bags that are all folded out with paper and different things, and I sewed them along as well, sewed them along the edges. I might use those ones. These are some tea bags that are all ready, have been used and colored. So those are ready for some love and to be used in art projects. I'll probably use those for sure. These are little paint chips I got from the hardware store. They're fun to use cutouts or make things with, or I just use the patterns as is. I'm going to bring some burgundy. I'm feeling a lot of kind of a tan color. I would like to do some coffee dyeing, so some coffee color. So I think my theme is I'm going to jazz in a bit of the gold in with the tan colors, the coffee colors. So many things can be used. I got this at the dollar store, that little colored pad. These are some altered cards that I made. They're kind of like the beginner of something that wants to be something. They're all a different type of options. I'm not feeling the cards for this project, but there's some yellows and stuff. Ooh, some pages possibly. Some different, I'm feeling those colors. Those are all the colors I was thinking of. That's a shot of orange there. Oh, some more tea bags, some longer tea bags, some washi tape. I almost called it wasabi tape. Some wasabi tape. I don't have any wasabi colors in there, I don't think. Let's see here. There's some tags. There's all kinds of stuff. There's maps. I'm feeling maps. I might throw that down. I'm going to do a couple spreads, so I'm going to bring out a few things. My mates. I wish I had more patterns. I don't have any stencils, really. Oh, look at that. I know that poem. We're going to use that for something. And there's a beautiful burgundy I'm looking for. And some musical paper. I'm not going to go for that bright yellow. I'm not feeling that. But I definitely can use this pad of paper here. Okay, so we got some stuff to work with. So let's work on our background. So while our background is going to dry, we can get some other stuff prepared. So I'm going to do a wash of just a brown, chocolate brown here. Now my page on the right already has wrinkles because, well, my friends, I glued the pages together and didn't let it dry enough before I started this project. So my first page is going to be a little bit wrinkled, but we are going to adapt and overcome and hide the wrinkles with other items. So we won't be able to tell if there's wrinkles there. Because I actually kind of did wash the paper down with a little bit of water as well, so it wrinkled it before the glue underneath was dry, so my bad. So normally this book would not be like this. You just have to let the glue dry between the pages. Using a coffee cream and a chocolate brown, just blending the colors however and having some fun. You can't mess this up. Okay, now I got some really cool drawings I did. This is kind of a startup package that I designed. We might use this one on the next spread. I just have some brown paper, cut out the little pieces, cut out the sides of the paper. I'm going to use this one. So you can mount it on some cardstock, create a little bit of a border if you dig. Ta-da! Ta-da! Oh! Okay, this is what I have in the package. So we have some goddess symbols, we have some pentacles, pentagrams, whatever you wish to call them, some Celtic knotwork stars for you to work with. I did these drawings here so you can print them out as many times as you want and you can use them in the next few spreads. So we're going to be using this in today's spread, a few of these. You can choose whichever one of these that you would like to put in your book blessing. You don't have to choose the ones that I did today. I've also included some tags and some bookmarks of the drawings, and we're going to be using those inserts and other spreads to come. Now this is a sigil we're going to see on our next spread, and that's also for a blessing for the book, and you can print that one out in a few sizes. We're going to need this one today, a book blessing. So we're going to coffee dye these up, and these are some of the elementals to protect the book. We're going to lay that in here. These are some of the ancestors to the gods. These are anything from the Wiccan Creed. I threw that in there because I think it's so cool. It needs to be in there. Some really cool book blessings. I find it harm none, do it ye will, or ye harm none, do it ye will. I wound up adding that to the PDF download. I went old school with it, and the Wiccan Read. So I'm gonna cut these out here and get them ready. What I'm doing is, in my next room, I have a lasagna plan where I'm going to be coffee dyeing those. So while those are coffee dyeing, let's get into some painting. I'm just gonna rock into some light watercolor. If you have pencil crayon or felt pen, whatever you're comfortable with. As you can see, I am not really thinking too hard on the painting. Just do it, or just have some fun with it. It doesn't need to be perfect. So I'm using a gold color first and then laying in a wash of purple just underneath that. The colors I'm going to use in this spread today, I'm sticking with the tan, the coffee cream colors I put in the antler, purple. I'm going to do, it's kind of a teal aquamarine, and also I will have this color of royal blue. I will try not to deviate from those colors, but I will be adding a splash of this reddish burgundy into the mix and a little shot here and there just to accentuate some fun. But I'm mainly going to be using the coffees, the browns, and the teals. And I like to kind of tie all that in together when you're doing artwork. So I really have a lot of brown in that piece, so I'm going to bring out a lot more of the teals in my little paintings. Adding a bit of a shadow around the edge, and I'm going to lay that one there. So what I think I'm going to add is some more goodies. I like to see some crystals in the corners. Again, you can print out I only have two crystals for this package, but you can print them out as many times as you like. I did paint them on cardstock, and then I put them on another cardstock again. And then I think the cardstock painting on that is going to be easier than if you just paint it out with your printer paper. Because whatever you used with your printer paper, it'll probably wind up wrinkling on your cardstock. So it's best to print it out on white cardstock, and then you can paste it on the next level and paint it on the next cardstock. So I'm just having some fun, keeping with all the color schemes as well with these guys here. So I'm really trying to follow the pattern of the colors so that when I pull the whole spread together, it's really going to bring it all out. bringing in some of those royal blues over top of those colors really helps pop out those teals too, especially over top of the feather. It kind of looked like I wish I would have left it kind of like a citrine, but I really like the purples. So I brought in the purples with the golds on this one. And a little bit more purple in the book was needed. Okay, so I'm just going to use this white page here at the top as an example. I wound up having to shrink the original one, photocopy it smaller to fit in my book, which is very easy to do with the PDF download. And I had to shrink the page. So while the page is shrunk, I reprinted it out on cardstock. It is now being soaked once again in my coffee dish in the kitchen. So you will be able to download all these goodies on my Etsy store, as well as if you're a Patreon for the Grimoire series, that just comes with that. Every time I put out a new page or a new spread, it will automatically come with that package with the Patreon series, which could be any between 1 or 4 times a month. So it will be covered, it will take care of itself for sure. So I'm going to rip off all the edges here. Now the first ones I burnt all the edges, and I found I really like burning that paper, so I wound up burning a little bit too much, and I would rather really see a little bit more browning on the edges. So I'm going to try this little stamp here, and I'm feeling it a little. Yeah, see, I can angle it in. I like this one better. I like the look of burning the edges too, because I think I was a pirate in another life for sure. So it's like the old maps and the old stuff. I just like to see it. It looks cool. But I'm really feeling the stamp and the edging with this, and I'm going to keep going for it. I'm going to make the paper look a little bit more aged. And I'm really happy with this. I've never used this stampings antiquing before. Oh, I got it for Christmas last year because I made it. I was making gifts for my mom, so I had to buy one of these for that. But now I'm really enjoying it. So I find we need a little bit more of a contrast here. I still find it's too brown. It feels like I'm missing something. I'm needing some color. I think I'm going to start off with some texture. So let's add some texture. I got some old tea bags. I keep all my tea bags, and you want to try your darker teas, so like Earl Grey's, black teas. And that's what I use. So I'm going to use one of these. There's paper on one side. I want a little punch of red, and then the edges are sewn with an aquamarine thread. And I like that I kept the little tea bags, little paper bits off the edge too. So I'm going to use that one. Now, one thing, I love how light the color of the tea bag, and I didn't know that it was gonna, when I use my Mod Podge, it was gonna be such lighter, so I wound up staining it with some paint afterwards too to bring out there. But I really enjoy the texture of the tea bags and stuff. It's just kind of a shame that you won't see the color of the tea bag as much after you've laid down the glue. So if you want to see more color in the tea bag, you should dye the tea bag first before you lay it down. In this case, I had a brown background with a brown tea bag. You couldn't see it as well. So in the future, I wound up, as you'll see in the next little bit, I wound up adding some teal over top of it. Just arranging how I think it will look cool. I'm just feeling the texture, what I would like to see behind my blessings, behind my goodies here. And we're going to use matte Mod Podge glue. And I gotta put some down first. Let the tea bag sit. And they will rip, so you do want to be careful. But you could use a healthy amount of glue. When you use a little bit extra glue, I find they don't rip as much. You can tend to, I do a thin layer underneath and then a little healthy layer on top. And you don't have to follow this spread exactly. If you don't have tea bags, you know, maybe if you find any textured material or you have some old cloth lying around, even if you have some extra material in your wrap bin, see what you have, some lace that you could lay down and then you can paint over the lace. Oh, that would look cool. I might have to do that in a spread. Ooh, that would look cool. And now I'm just working with some of that beautiful yellowed and aged book paper. Haphazardly, randomly. I want to see a lot of it versus some of this is going to be covered up by the book blessing. But I still want a little stuff peeking through here and there. I think it'll be cool. And I have some musical note paper here. And this one I like it because it's got all that sewing. I sewed around the edges with aquamarine thread. So that's going to be a little subtle punch out. I think that'll look cool. And I like the red stamp in there too. So I think I'm going to have to bring something in with that a little bit later. That's gonna look so cool there when it dries. I'm excited. I love how seeing things dry because you never know what's gonna happen. Now this is some cheesecloth, but you could also use like a bandage for a tensor bandage, or you can unwrap things, anything you can find. This time of the year you can find Halloween fake, I wonder if it would work, that Halloween spider web stuff could be really cool, but I would stick to like gauze or the cheesecloth. Would probably be a little bit easier to paint. And then again we're gonna put just a thin coating of glue because there's already a lot of glue down from where you coated the other paperwork. So this is just be enough to kind of hold it down. You could, if it comes off a little bit later after everything's dried in the morning, you could always add a bit more. But again, you don't need too much glue for this. Some of it sticks over the edge. That's cool. Just let it be, and you'll trim that off when it's all dried out. So this is what it looks like the next day. Oh, it is so cool. Look at that. So much texture. I'm all about feel and texture and interaction, so this is cool for me. All right, we're going to trim off the edges. I want to clean up the pages. And now the pages are quite thick from all that glue, so it can be funny. It can be bent quite interesting ways. Got all that trimmed up. I'm just gonna, I have a lot of overlapping with this page, so I'm just gonna clean up the edges here. There we go. Now I have a lot of texture going, but I still have a lot of browns. And there, see, I have my teals. I feel I need more teal in there. So let's bring in some craft paint. So I'm adding a fair bit of water and doing a wash over top of the cheesecloth. And I'm going to do a bit of a wash over top of some of the tea bags as well to bring out just some color in the texture. I'm using the side of the brush and doing a bit of a dry brush over top. If you get a little bit too much on in one spot, it still looks cool. I just slopped a bit too much on there and I like it. So mixing a fair bit of water in with your paint and let it just wash over it. And let's hit this tea bag here. See how you can do a dry brush on it? Just enough to bring out some of that color. Oh, that looks so cool. I wish I wasn't covering this part up. But that's okay. And we'll do a wash over top of the long tea bag as well. I think that'll look cool to bring out some texture in that one too. And a bit of dry brush on the stamp. So now that that's dry, let's work on our placements. Later on, I found the space between the antlers too white, so I wound up adding some of the antiquing color over top of it. And just playing around with placements. I've picked out all the ones that I want, but I don't know exactly everywhere I'm going to put them yet. So just playing around with different configurations. Now I've re-enchanted a new book blessing paper. So I've used coffee, and this paper I use cinnamon for an extra protection for the book. And I think it created some really cool textures in with it too. And I'm going to burn the edges of this one too to match the elemental protect this book blessing to the left. Still kind of, I want this book, that little book somewhere. I still haven't figured out where I'm going to put that one. So now that all the edges are burnt, I'm going to add a little bit antiquing to this one too to match up the one on the left. I'm going to add a little age to it as well. Add a little bit more than what the coffee could have done. Really like that look, so I want to going for it. Yeah, I want to adding a bit more. I want it being too light. I like it. Okay, so I started off with some craft glue, and the craft glue, well, it just wouldn't dry fast enough. So I wound up discovering it didn't want to stick down because there was so much texture on the book. No matter what I did, it just kept curling. I now started curling my painting, my little witchy clip art, and it didn't even stick even a tiny little bit. So I just grabbed a sponge, wiped it off because I already had a glue coating. Worked out great, can't even tell. And I wiped it off the back. So luckily this is cardstock paper. I was able to wipe it off. So got rid of that glue. And we're gonna switch to Mod Podge. We'll see how this one works out because I do not want to hot glue this down. I think it'll be too bumpy. All right, I'm gonna let that glue dry a little bit on the other one, and I'm gonna glue the rest of the stuff down and see how this fares out. So hopefully this Mod Podge will stick to the texture underneath. I guess we'll find out the hard way. And I'll just hold this down while I find out again the hard way if this is going to work or not. I guess I should have waited. Seems to be holding. All right, Mod Podge glue is the winner. Oh, there, that little book will go cool there. And add our title, our book blessing. Grimoire miniature book, love it, and give a little healthy glue over top of it to help it stick down. This page is brought to you by the letter B and the letter G for glue. Yeah, this whole page is definitely made of a lot of glue. It's going to be shiny and beautiful and thick and indestructible. And we'll give it a little coat over top of the blessing to seal that in there. Might as well match up the rest of the page. And also I'm trying to stick it down, so I'm using again a healthy amount of glue to try to stick these down. Every time it peels up, I just squish down with my my glue brush again. This is coming together. I'm quite happy. I still don't know where I'm going to put this guy. Oh, there. Yeah. So again, like I chose the feather and I chose the broom with the hat and the crystals, but you could choose whichever you would like. I love the antlers as a centerpiece with the roses, and you can choose whatever colors you wish to accent your roses, and that would probably be the color for your accent page. So that would be your contrast color. Now I'm going to bring in some wax stamp seals. Again, this isn't a must. I would like you to grab whatever you have in the house and just grab the PDF downloads and then make it your own. Kind of follow along with I did and then put in whatever you would like for your extras. Whatever you have around the house. Maybe some magazines, some back, you can pull out some magazine pictures and put that in your Grimoire spread. So I'm going to mix a bit of red with the purple. I'm going to use my initials with that, and then I'm going to do the pentacle star right above the book blessing lettering. So my first pour is beautiful, but the wax, I thought I got the C the right way and it wound up being like upside down and backwards. So I had to pour another one. I was like, oh no, I swear I checked, but I have to so I'll just let that cool down and I'll pour another one. So while that's cooling down, I'm going to pour the letter A for my last name. You could always use some hot glue. You can gush out some hot glue and then paint the hot glue if you wanted to make it look like a wax stamp seal. Now I'm gonna pour and have some fun. I need some drips. And then it just started pouring so beautifully. I was like, yeah, whatever happens, happens. Beauty. Look at that metallic red. It is so gorgeous. Now I mix some metallic red with some black. And I thought that would make the red or really pop out against the black undertones. But it started bubbling really, really cool, and the black wound up staying the dominant color and the red wound up being a really cool little accent. And I wound up doing the star upside down, so there's that. That was an accident too. I swear I had it all right up, but just how it goes. Well, thank you so very much for joining me today in this super fun new spread, the first one of the series of my new Grimoire series. And this series is called All About You. So we're going to learn more about yourself through the art of these Grimoire spreads. Thanks so very much. Throw me down a little like up, ring that bell, subscribe, and let me know if there's something that you would do in the comments below. And have yourself a magical day.